Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Kindle Unlimited recommendations video. Today we are talking all about romance. Before we get started, you guys know I have to give my few little disclaimers. So first of all, romance is not a genre that I am very well versed in. So I think pretty much all of these recommendations that I'm going to be giving you guys today are not books that I have read. What I do is I search around Kindle Unlimited and I pull up a whole bunch of books that are available, and then I just tell you guys about them. So they're not personal recommendations. If you choose to pick up a book and it's really bad, that's not my fault, okay? I'm just letting you know what is available through Kindle Unlimited. And I also wanted to remind you guys that if you pay for a Kindle Unlimited subscription and you read enough books during the month, you can actually make it so that Amazon loses money via your subscription to Kindle Unlimited. So get out there and get reading. I have tried to break up this video a little bit into some like sub-genres, subcategories, so feel free to skip around and find what you are looking for. If you are coming for indie published recommendations, because it is Indie April, and if you happen to click on this video because of the Indie April readathon, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I will put a little stamp under each of the books that are indie published. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We are going to start off with some good classic contemporary romance, or at least what I believe is contemporary romances. If any of these are slotted into the wrong category, once again, I apologize, but I'm not very well versed in this genre. So the first book that I have for you today is called The Art of Awkward Affection, a romantic comedy, and this is book 1 of 2 in the Richmond Brothers duology, I guess. This is described as an enemies to lovers, grumpy New York billionaire boss versus Florida sunshine assistant, standalone funny romance with a teeny smidge of suspense. If you like cupcakes, sparkly stickers, and hot guys in suits whose rigid routines get a hilarious shakeup, this book is for you. Happily ever after, guaranteed. Next up, we have a 5-book series or collection. This is the Cider Cove Sweet Southern Rom-Coms by Elena Johnson. The first book is called A Very Terrible Text. The synopsis starts off by saying she's finally joined the dating app everyone in Cider Cove is raving about, when she accidentally sends a message about wanting to meet up for a first date to her enemy. ... The next one is Unlikely Story by Ali Rosen. This is described as a swoon-worthy romance bursting with wit about a therapist who falls for the wrong man, but perhaps the right one was hiding in the margins all along. Next, we have a pretty popular title, Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. This is a competition between a classical violinist and a rock star cellist sparks a sizzling chemistry in this book that's 100% pure magic. Perfect for fans of Ali Hazelwood and Abby Jimenez. Like I said, this is a pretty popular title. I've seen a lot of people talking about this and this author, so it is available on Kindle Unlimited if you've been wanting to read it. Next, we have Happy After All by Maisie Yates. When a romance author meets a mysterious stranger, love is the last thing she expects to find in a funny and heartfelt novel about second chances by a New York Times best-selling author. Next is A Variation by Rebecca Yarros, which is described as a contemporary romance about the summer a celebrated dancer returns home and unearths years of family secrets and deep regrets with the Coast Guard rescue swimmer she never forgot. So this sounds like maybe it could be second chance, maybe like childhood friends to lovers, second chance. I don't know, but it sounds interesting. Next is a book that I'm not entirely sure fits exactly into romance or contemporary romance, but this is Alone with You in the Ether, a love story by Olivia Blake, which is described as an intimate and contemporary study of time, space, and the nature of love. Alone with You in the Ether explores what it means to be unwell and how to face the fractures of yourself and still love as if you're not broken. So I think there definitely is romantic themes to it, but it definitely sounds like it's going to be a lot deeper of a story and maybe focusing on a character and character development in the grand scope of things, with a little bit of romance on the side, maybe. This is another one that I think is more slotted into like general fiction, women's fiction, but a little bit of of romance as well. This is called There's Something About Mira by Sonali Dev. This is the heartfelt story of a woman determined to reunite a lost ring with its owner, who ends up finding herself along the way. So I think she teams up with a stranger to reunite a person with their lost ring, and then it's a journey about finding herself and what she wants in life, and maybe finding a little bit of romance in a new partner along the way. The next one is The Reunion by Megan Quinn. This is a romantic comedy about the antics that ensue when three siblings come together for their parents' 50th anniversary party. So I don't know what that gives us for the romance, but I guess there's a family aspect to it and other things happening outside of the romance. This one has a really pretty cover as well. I think the colors of it are just gorgeous. Next is a pretty popular author again. This is The Bodyguard by Katherine Senner. It says, she's a bodyguard who's got his back. He's a superstar who's got her heart. Together, they've got a secret. What could possibly go wrong? I have not personally read anything from Katherine Senner yet, but I've heard so many good things about all of her books, so I definitely have to pick up one at some point. Let me know which one I should start with if you have read from Katherine Senner before. This next one is actually one that I have read. This is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. For two sworn enemies, anything can happen during the Hawaiian trip of a lifetime, maybe even love. So this is about two people that don't quite get along, but they end up having to take the honeymoon trip for their friends who have just gotten married because they get sick and they can't go on their honeymoon. So these two have to go together and they are in very close proximity. Next, we have Fake It Till You Make It, a laugh out loud fake dating romantic comedy from Laura Carter, which is pitched as perfect for fans of The Hating Game. Anybody that loves a good fake dating trope, this might be a good one for you to pick up. Next up, we have two Abby Jimenez books. The first one is Just for the Summer, which is described as a witty, slow burn rom-com that is the ideal beach read. This, I think, is about two people who believe that their love lives are kind of cursed and they end up finding love with one another, and it's a very summery, atmospheric, picturesque background. And the next Abby Jimenez is Part of Your World, which is book 1 of 2 in a duology. This is the only one out of the two that is available on Kindle Unlimited, and this is pitched as a delightful rom-com with a touch of magic about an overwhelmed city girl who finds that a small town guy might be everything she didn't know she needed. Next, we have two books by the author Lucy Score. The first one is Things We Never Got Over, which is book 1 of 3 in a series. All 3 of the books are available on Kindle Unlimited. Bearded bad boy barber Knox prefers to live his life the way he takes his coffee, alone, unless you count his basset hound, Waylon. Knox doesn't tolerate drama, even when it comes in the form of a stranded runaway bride. This is a very popular one. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably heard of it. The next Lucy Score one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, this is a pretty new release. It is called Story of My Life. It's that is book 1 of 2 in the Story Lake duology series. So this, I think, is a small town rom-com. It says Gilmore Girls meets Schitt's Creek redemption rom-com. So if you're into any of those things, this might be a good one to check out. The next author we have to talk about is Lucy Score. First, we have Flawless, which is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series. All of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. This says, the rules were simple. Keep my hands off his daughter and stay out of trouble. But now I'm stuck with her. There's only one bed, and well, rules are made to be broken. So this is a small town, I believe it's cowboy romance. I read the second book in this series, but I haven't read any of the other ones. And that is, of course, an interconnected series that all takes place in the same town. And also by Elsie Silver, we have Wild Love, which is book 1 of 3 in the Rose Hill series. Rosie Belmont has been driving me wild for years. The good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild, but mostly the kind of wild that comes with wanting your best friend's little sister and knowing you can't have her. Scandalous. And I believe this is another like small town maybe cowboy romance, I'm not sure. The next author I wanted to talk about is Kennedy Ryan. I found 2 of her books that you can read on Kindle Unlimited. The first one is called Real. It is Hollywood Renaissance Book 1. The one-liner for this one says, a Broadway actress's one shot at movie stardom could cost her everything. It is described as a heart-searing epic romance, and this specific edition has a new 7,000 word bonus epilogue, it says. Then, of course, we have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is book 1 of 3. The first 2 books so far are available on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if the third one is not released yet, or maybe it just hasn't made it onto Kindle Unlimited yet, but you can read the first 2 while you're waiting for that one. This is described as a compelling, scorching novel about hope and healing and what it truly means to love for a lifetime. So I think this one is a little bit less romance heavy and more focused on the main character and her story and her family life from what I've heard of people talking about it, and it definitely has a stronger emotional impact. Next up, by Tia Williams, we have The Perfect Find. A 40-year-old woman risks her new career for a secret romance with the one person who could destroy her comeback in this deliciously good time of a novel. It is now a Netflix film starring Gabrielle Union. So if you've been wanting to read this, it's available on Kindle Unlimited. You can go watch the movie when you're finished reading it. And the other popular title by this author is also available on Kindle Unlimited, 7 Days in June. 2 writers get a second chance at love in this romantic, sexy as hell New York Times best-selling novel. The next author we are talking about is Devney Perry. This first book is called Crossroads. It is book 1 of 2 in the Haven River Ranch duology, and both of those books are available on Kindle Unlimited. This is described as a sweeping small-town romance about love, loss, and a Montana legacy. Also from Devney Perry, a very popular series that I've heard a lot about. This is a 6-book series called The Edens. All of these are available on Kindle Unlimited. Book number 1 is called Indigo Ridge, and it is described as a small-town enemies to lovers romance. Okay, for the next section of the video, we are going to be moving into sports romances because I have a good little handful of sports romance books. So the first one is part of a duology. This is called Until It Was Love. This is book 1 of 2 in the Copper Valley Pounders rugby series, and the second book is available on Kindle Unlimited as well. This is by Pippa Grant. This is described as a banter-tastic rom-com featuring an overgrown snack of a man with a soft spot for his purse dog, a normally optimistic life coach trying to live her best life, a mustache catastrophe, and one little tiny fainting spell. It stands alone and comes complete with a swoony happily ever after that will leave your heart in a happy puddle of joy. Next one is also part of a duology. This is book 2 in the Maple Creek duology. So the first one is available on Kindle Unlimited as well. This one, I don't know if that one's a sports one, but this second one is a sports reporter and a hockey player get up close and personal in an outrageously sexy romantic comedy. Up next, we have another book series. This is a 6-book series, which is the Boys of Tommen series. The first book is Binding 13, and this is by Chloe Walsh. I'm not 100% sure if this is YA. I think it is marketed as YA, but I feel like when I hear people talk about these books and the series, it doesn't sound like YA, so I don't really know. But it says it is an epic and unforgettable love story. He wants to save her, she wants to hide. She's damaged, he's determined. Fate brought them together, love binds them. So this is a sports romance, and I've also heard that it does deal with a lot of really dark topics and is definitely very heavy on the emotional side of it. Next is another book series. This is 5-book series, the Windy City series. All of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. The first one is called Mile High, and these books are by Liz Tomford. So in this one, I believe the male main character is a hockey player. It says, he's everything I try to avoid. Arrogant, athlete, too attractive for his own good. But he's impossible to stay away from, especially when we're 37,000 feet in the air. The next one is called Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is also part of a series, book 1 of 4 in the Vancouver Storm series, which all of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. He is the hot, grumpy goalie I had a crush on in high school, and now I'm his live-in assistant. So this is described as a grumpy sunshine hockey romance. Then I want to talk about Elle Kennedy because she has a lot of books available on Kindle Unlimited. Possibly all of her books, I don't really know. I think the most popular is probably The Deal, which is part of the Off Campus series, which is a 5-book series. So this is about the good girl in college who makes a deal with the bad boy hockey player. It is spicy, and of course they fall in love. And then a spin-off from that series is the Campus Diaries series. So these books are available on Kindle Unlimited as well. This first one is called The Graham Effect, and I do believe that it is the Off-Campus series, and the couples in there, their children are the main characters in this series, if I remember correctly. Like I said, give me some grace if I am wrong. Also from Elle Kennedy, we have a standalone. This is called Body Check. It is described as a spicy hockey rom-com, steamy hockey romance with forbidden love. Okay, the last one that I have saved in my sports category is called Most Valuable Playboy by Lauren Blakely. When the hot new quarterback desperately needs a fake girlfriend, he turns to his best friend's sister, only to find that she may turn out to be the woman of his dreams, even though she's been there all along. And this is book 1 of 2 in the Ballers and Babes series. The second one is available on Kindle Unlimited as well. Okay, we are on to the next category. This one, I'm not fully sure. This is going to be dark romance books, and then some that maybe aren't dark romance, but are significantly spicier than a typical romance. So if that's the vibe you're after, this is the category for you. Up first, we have Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Okay, listen, I am just finding out that this is book 1 in a 21 book series. That's crazy. I do believe it looks like all of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you really enjoy this first one, you can continue to read the 20 other books in the series. You'd think being abducted by aliens would be the worst thing that could happen to me, and you'd be wrong, because now the aliens are having ship trouble, and they've left their cargo of human women, including me, on an ice planet. And the only native inhabitant I've met, he's big, horned, blue, and really, really has a thing for me. I'm sure most of you guys probably know the content of this book. Next is another 6-book series. This series is called The Legacy of Gods. So the first book is called God of Malice, and it is described as a dark college romance. This is a gripping dark romance about a villain and his irresistible new obsession. The next one we have is Pretty Monster by Sheridan Ann. My stalker sneaks into my room at night, playing his wicked games of cat and mouse. He terrifies me, but when he touches me, I can't tell him no. Why? Because I'm addicted to my stalker. This is another dark stalker romance, Once You're Mine by Morgan Bridges. Murder brought us together, only death can keep us apart. This is book 1 of 2 in the Possessing Her series duology. It is described as touch her and die energy, morally gray hero, attorney by day, vigilante by night, and it is scorching hot. What is with the moths and the butterflies on these covers? I feel like that's a common thing. I don't know, I guess every genre kind of has its own thing, or cover trends. And for dark romance, it's skulls and butterflies and flowers, which is why this cover is a nice refreshing break from that. I love the cover of this book, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This is book 1 of 6 in the Brutal Birthright series. All of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. This is described as an enemies to lovers mafia romance. Also by Sophie Lark, we have the Sinners Duet. Both of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. The first one is called There Are No Saints. Cole Blackwell values control. He is the hottest sculptor in San Francisco, wealthy, successful, and respected. His only weakness is the dark impulse he carefully conceals. Mara Eldridge is a nobody. Broke and damaged, she worked 3 jobs while creating paintings no one will ever see. And then I guess that they find each other in their lives. This next one I believe is less dark romance and more just kind of like spicy. This is another 3-book series. This is Flock by Kate Stewart, which is book 1 of the Ravenhood series. It says it is a deliciously steamy, irresistibly edgy, and suspenseful Robin Hood retelling that offers a thoroughly unique modern-day spin on the original brotherhood of morally gray bad boys. And it says this version includes an exclusive can't-miss bonus scene between Cecilia and Sean, whoever they are. I have seen this book around on the internet. I did not realize it was a Robin Hood retelling. That's kind of interesting. Getting back into some dark romances, we have Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This is giving One Direction fan fiction. They run this town and everyone in it. Their deals are as sordid as their business, and their reputation is enough to bring a grown man to his knees, forcing him to beg for mercy. They are not people you mess with, yet my dad did. The old man ran up a debt with them and then sold me to cover his losses. Yes, sold me. They own me now. So if that's a trope that you're into, here's a good book for you. Once again, it's got a skull and flowers on it, so you know it's gonna be a dark one. Next up is Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. This is book 1 of 2 in the Web of Silence duet. Owning her is all he ever wanted. She betrayed him, and now he wants revenge against the foster sister who became his forbidden obsession the second he laid eyes on her. After she sends him to prison for years, he's free and ready to haunt her. Next up is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, which is a pretty popular book, and I think a lot of people generally know the content of it because there are a lot of scenes from this book that are spoken about, specifically one involving shark-infested waters. And of course, by the same author, we have the Cat and Mouse duet. So the first book is Haunting Adeline, which is another one that a lot of people, I'm sure, have heard of. It's a pretty popular one, so I don't think I really need to explain anything about it. Once again, it's got skulls and flowers and butterflies. If you are someone like me and you don't read like this genre of books, Larry Reads did like an in-depth spoiler plot review summary type of video that was really funny and entertaining. So if you're curious about what happens in that book but you don't want to read it, go and watch her video. Next up, we have Penelope Douglas. She has a lot of books available on Kindle Unlimited, possibly all of her books, I'm not really sure. The first one that I have pulled up is book 1 of 4 in the Devil's Night series. This one is called Corrupt. So I guess this is another dark romance that has to do with somebody or a group of people getting out of prison and interacting with the woman who put them there. And then we have a few standalones from Penelope Douglas that were pretty popular within the book community online, so I'm sure you guys have heard of these before. The first one is Punk 57, which I guess has to do with a woman and a pen pal that she's been in contact with. Then we have Credence, which I've heard some weird things about, is maybe like her step uncle or her stepdad that she gets into it with. And then we have Birthday Girl, which is, I believe, her best friend's father that she gets involved with. So if you are a fan of spicy things that maybe have to deal with some taboo relationships, then there is a lot available for you there. Also, side note, if you guys would be interested in seeing me read any of these, specifically these Penelope Douglas ones, let me know, because why have I always, for years, there's always been like something in the back of my head that I really want to read Birthday Girl for some reason, and I don't know why, because I never read things like that. But I feel like that could be fun to vlog. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Let me know if you don't give a fuck, because that's valid too. The next one we have is Defying Evil by Abby Rhodes. He's the son of a serial killer. She is his father's only surviving victim. He's obsessed with her. She's frightened of him. Before it's all over, they'll need each other to survive. So this is a dark romantic thriller is how it's described. Then we have The Butcher by Penelope Sky. This is book 1 of 4 in the Fifth Republic series. All of these books are available on Kindle Unlimited. So from reading the synopsis, this sounds like it's a woman who has just gotten out of a long-term relationship because he cheated on her, and she finds this man who she is instantly enamored by because he's the most beautiful man I've ever seen. But then she learns he is the Butcher, the crime lord of all crime lords, the boss that overshadows all of Paris, that makes everyone abide by his rules or pay. And now I'm his. This is the last one I have for this category. It's not a dark romance, but it is a spicy one. This is Nanny for the Neighbors by Lily Gold. To the boys in apartment 5A, congratulations, you have a kid. So I believe this is a woman who is involved with 3 different men, and then there's a surprise baby. And now we are moving on to the last category for this video. This is going to be all YA young adult. I have a handful of these to go over with you guys. The first one is Every Other Weekend by Abigail Johnson. 2 teenagers from broken families find solace in one another's company in this heart-wrenching and hopeful YA romance novel. Okay, this one says it's supposed to be YA. It says reading ages 12 years and up. So why is it described as steamy? Anyways, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. The Hating Game meets Booksmart by way of Morgan Matson in this unforgettable romantic comedy about 2 rival overachievers whose relationship completely transforms over the course of 24 hours. This is a pretty popular one. I've heard a lot about it. That description is kind of throwing me off. Is it YA? Is it not? I don't know. You guys tell me. The next one we have is called It Only Happens in the Movies. This is by Holly Bourne. This is a clever, deconstructed rom-com that proves that in real life, girl meets boy doesn't always mean happily ever after. Or does it? At turns funny, feminist, and achingly real, this read is perfect for fans of Sophie Kinsella, Patrick Ness, and Julie Buxbaum. Next, we have The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, a fun, flirty teen debut from Wattpad phenomenon Alex Light, which is about a fake relationship and real love. So maybe this is a book that began on Wattpad. The next YA book that I have is called 4 Days of You and Me. This is by Miranda Keneally? I don't know how you say that last name. This is described as a funny enemies to lovers rom-com about second, third, maybe even fourth chances. Next, we have 2 books by the same author. These are pretty popular as well. What Happens After Midnight and The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. So What Happens After Midnight is a new coming-of-age romance about senior year, first love, and finding yourself. And then The Summer of Broken Rules. Meredith's family's annual game of assassin at Martha's Vineyard during a summer wedding is the perfect chance to honor her sister's legacy and finally join the world again. But when she forms an alliance with a cute groomsman, she's at risk of losing both the game and her heart. So that to me, The Summer of Broken Rules to me does not sound like YA from that description, but it does say that the age group is 14 to 18 years old. The next one is I Hate You More by Alexandra Moody. Ever heard of keeping your friends close and your enemies closer? That's exactly what Allie Lockwood has to do when the hottest guy at Fairview High and her sworn nemesis moves in with her family for senior year. Next, we have a pretty popular one that I do believe is YA. This is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This is a new edition that has bonus content. One kiss lasts a moment, but 1,000 kisses can last a lifetime. One boy, one girl, a bond that is forged in an instant and cherished for a decade. A bond that neither time nor distance can break. A bond that will last forever, or so they believe. This is by the same author that we just mentioned, Stuck With You by Alexandra Moody. Stuck in lockdown with the one guy she can't stand. What could possibly go wrong? 17-year-old Clary's senior year has gone up in flames. Thanks to a pandemic sweeping the world, school is canceled and everyone's going into lockdown. To top it off, her parents are stranded overseas with no way to get home. So then she ends up, I guess, in the same home with the most irritating guy on the planet, Hartford High's notorious heartbreaker, Aiden Moore. So it seems like a kind of similar plot or idea to the other one by her. And I'm just learning that the next book that I have pulled up is also by the same author. This one is called Rival Darling, and this is a YA sports romance. It is a YA ice hockey rom-com that says it will warm your heart. And last but not least, to close out the video, I just want to highlight some short stories. So of course we have The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This is a new Abby Jimenez short story. Everybody's been talking about it recently, and you can read it on Kindle Unlimited. It is described as two good neighbors make the best of a bad Valentine's Day in a funny and improbably romantic short story. And if you guys didn't know, through Kindle Unlimited via Amazon, they have so many collections of short stories. So this is one that I pulled up that is a romance themed one. It is called Improbable Meet Cute. In these 6 serendipitous short stories, best-selling authors turn improbable first encounters into hopelessly romantic happy ever afters. And the authors we have featured in here are Christina Lauren, Abby Jimenez, Sally Thorne, Jasmine Guillory, Ashley Poston, and Soraya Wilson. So if you're a fan of any of those authors, you can pick up any of these short stories on Kindle Unlimited, and you also get the audio version with that membership as well. So that brings us to the end of the video. There are a whole ton of romance books that you guys can read right now on Kindle Unlimited with a subscription. So with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time.